Hi, I'm Mark Hummel, and this is Mark Hummel's Harmonica Party. And I am sitting here with somebody I've known for years and years, a guitar great. He's on so many recordings and played with the top players in the blues music industry. This is Junior Watson here. And Junior is going to tell you a little bit about how he got started and some of his experiences playing, who he played with, stories about the road, and just all kinds of tall tales. So the first thing I want to ask Junior, just to get things started, is you grew up in Visalia?
No, I was born in Visalia. I grew up in Tulare, the next town over.
And
that's the San Joaquin Valley, Central Coast, they call it.
What was your attraction to music as a kid? I'm assuming you got into it as a child.
Well, I'm Portuguese, and like I was telling you earlier, that town was pretty diverse with every nationality. Everybody got along. And I had some Mexican friends that I was going to Catholic school with, Paul Trujillo and his family. And he was messing around with the guitar. He was basically just beginning. And when I heard these guys play, I said, man, I got to get me a guitar somehow. So my grandfather takes me to White Front. That's like a...
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That's like a Walmart back then, when there was no Walmart, right? So I bought a guitar. It cost $50 or $49.95. And the amp was like made out of cardboard. It was terrible. It was called a Rodeo guitar, right? I saw the one there was actually 3 of them on stands, So I come home and it only has 2 strings on it. So they thought I was a genius because I figured out a song on 2 strings, walk right in, sit right down. They go, this guy's a genius. So I take the guitar over to my buddy Paul's house and he goes, man, you're missing 4 strings on the guitar. From that point on, it's been downhill. Just kidding. So,
So they bought you the other 4 strings.
They bought me the other 4 strings finally. And then I went over to Paul and we were messing, we were trying to play surf music and stuff. But
how old were you?
14 when I first started. And then another guy that I went to Catholic school was Danny Baradat. His brother Ray was in the Charades, which is a big band. Not a big band physically, but a popular band. Yeah, they were more like a doo-wop band. But the band, Pascal Pina, this tough-looking Mexican guy, with a pompadour and the whole bit with a old beat-up Strat. He was amazing. And that was like a hero to me, just that kind of R&B music, but no blues yet. And then, like I told you earlier, I found a 45 at a garage sale of Lightning Slim. That was my first introduction to hearing anything remotely with real blues. And I thought, this is cool. And so didn't really start getting into finding blues because they didn't know anything about it, until I moved to San Jose and listening to FM radio, underground radio, they call it. I think it was Buddy Guy on And I go, this is some cool stuff here, man.
So was that 67 or something like that?
Yeah, I think about the beginning of 67. And then, then that particular year is the first year I started going to the Fillmore.
Right.
And then you see everything. And I just had to, a lot of times I'd walk out on Blue Cheer, I remember sticking whole cigarettes in my ear back then. And they were so,
they were my favorites.
They're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
The world's loudest band
in the world, man. And you know what it sounded
practiced on a pier.
It just was like white noise, like this. I'm thinking, I got to get out of here.
I can do a good impression of them.
That's it. That's it. But I mean, I saw so many great things there. Albert King.
I think you told me about a show one time that was Fleetwood Mac and Buddy and Freddie or something. I can't remember who it was.
Buddy played with Peter Green on one night. They had a big, battle like.
I remember you told me a great lineup of those guys.
Oh, it was always great in there. $2 to get in back then.
It's incredible, man.
Elvin Bishop called me one time and I was telling him about this. He couldn't remember this at all. How they used to make those amoeba lights, they'd offer you a handbill, $2 or a ticket for the next show, or a tab of acid to sit there. They get like 12 people with pie plates.
Right,
and they put
right,
oil
right.
and water in there.
Right.
And you'd just be going like this the whole time. And I go, not me. I came to hear music, man. I don't want to be sitting there just like a dodo going like this all the time. And then within
Right.
about 3 months, they were replaced with automation.
Right.
They were out of there.
No, I remember hearing about that's how they did the
That's
shows.
how they did it.
Now, your mom was a singer. I remember you were telling me she was working a lot around San Jose.
But basically at one place, 17 West.
Uh-huh.
18 years she was there.
And that was like kind of a jazz club?
No, it was but I mean, it was
Or a lounge or what?
standards.
Yeah, standards. So
Yeah,
ballads
it was a
and
great
things
food
like that.
place too.
Yeah. So the Fillmore was obviously a pretty big influence.
Absolutely.
In terms of opening things up to you.
But my life really changed when I met Gary Smith. To tell
Right.
you the truth.
And was that 68, 69?
No, I think it was actually 71. I was living right across from the bodega next to the fire station with Rob Alberto.
That was in Campbell?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a little alcove room where I used to come in through the window, and there was my bed, which was like a couch during the day. And so one day Rod goes, "Hey, you know Gary Smith?" And I go, "Never met him, but I just saw him at the Iron Apple about 2 months ago. They sounded great." Because to me, I listened to it. I go, "There's a band I'd like to get in right there." So he said, "Gary's coming over." And I'm going, "Really?" I go, "Do you know Gary?" And he goes, "No, but he's coming over to." He goes, Ed Campbell's coming over. That was our drummer.
Right.
So basically Gary came over with Robin Ford. Robin started playing. He had his Super 400. And he's bending over backwards in the living room. I go, "What is this? What's going on here?" Right? And basically he was trying to steal our drummer. He was just wanting to see Ed.
Ed Campbell?
Ed Campbell had
Right.
the 28-inch bass drum.
Right.
Robin left, and then Gary goes, "Hey, let's play something." So he goes, "Hey, you listen to Lockwood?" And I go, "Never heard." "Lockwood who?" He goes, "Robert Lockwood." I go, "Never heard of him." He goes, You're sliding on chords just like Lockwood." I go, "Never heard it." So he goes, "Are you hungry?" Gary's going to love this part. And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You got any money?" I go, I got like $6. And he goes, "Let's go to the store." So Gary steals a couple of eggs. We go in there and he comes out. I go, "Did you get anything?" And he goes, "Let's go." So he comes back to the house and he goes, "I got the 2 eggs, man. Let's eat." So he cooks them up. That was our first meeting. So he asked me, "Hey, man, would you like to join the band?" I go, "Yeah, sure." So that's where I came to the 101 house.
Right. Now, did you move right in, or how'd that work out?
Pretty much so. I think I waited like a month,
Uh-huh.
and then I just went over there and never came back. Right next door was a shed that was Guitar Player magazine. That's how we met.
Really?
That's how we met Dan Fort.
Wow. Too much.
Right next to that place was
That's crazy.
the original Guitar Player magazine.
And did
Fort.
Dan Fort start that? Was he one of the? He was one of the early writers, though.
He was.
Yeah.
He was from there from the beginning.
Okay. So, from what I understood about 101, it was like you and Steve Gomes, the bass player, and Gary Smith all living there.
That's right.
But everybody
came
apparently, yeah, Musselwhite was there all the time.
It was an open
Alberto,
door.
Gianquinte, Sid Morris, Tucker was there all the time.
All the time.
All these people were.
We used to drive Tucker.
Right.
Because he didn't drive at all. Ever.
Right. Now, was he living in the area, or was he
No,
up in Marin?
He was up there in San Rafael or wherever.
Oh, he was in San Rafael.
He was living above this.
Yeah.
His card said it was a suite, but it was above a liquor store. It was just a little shack-looking thing.
Right, right.
But I mean, everybody wanted him to play with him.
Yeah, of course.
Fenton Robinson.
Sure, yeah.
Hooker.
Yeah.
Cotton. Even when Matt Murphy was in there, they both played together.
Right.
Right. So we just pick him up, and it was an unbelievable learning experience just watching that stuff.
Just having all those guys around you.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember the first album that I got that had you on it was the Blue Bay record.
Oh, yes, 1976.
Yeah. So that was 76. And I remember Luther Tucker being on it. Skip Rose, I think, was on it.
Ron
Thompson, Musselwhite, Gary Smith, you. High Tide Harris, Sonny Rhodes.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a good
It's a good record, yeah. And it was like all you guys seemed like you were in that San Jose Bay Area scene back then.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, you guys were really kind of the introduction, at least for me. You guys were kind of the introduction of the blues scene in the Bay Area for me.
I heard a lot of bands. I think that's one of the best bands at that time playing blues. You know?
Gary and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I really do.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you guys had,
And we backed a bunch
you
of
also
people.
had, who was the horn player?
Kenny Baker.
Kenny Baker, right. Kenny Baker was on a lot of
He was
gigs.
great. Man, you know?
And from what I gather, I mean, Gary was really kind of doing what I ended up doing later on, which was finding blues people and getting them gigs and setting up small tours in the Bay Area. Like he'd have like John Lee Hooker, you know, you guys would be backing him, or Tucker, or Mike Bloomfield, Nick Gravenitis.
Yeah.
You guys would kind of back, and I know at one point you guys worked with Otis Rush, right?
Oh yeah, that was at the Great American Music Hall.
Right.
That was amazing. All I know is he was kind of depressed and stuff, you know. And
Otis was?
yeah,
Yeah.
but he sounded amazing. Phew.
Yeah.
Got him a bassman.
Do you remember what year that was?
I think it was around 72 or 3.
Didn't you do that tour with Gary and Alberto,
Yeah.
where you went to Lincoln, Nebraska, and
Here's how that
maybe
happened.
Milwaukee?
Here's
or
how that
something?
happened. You got to back up a little bit.
Okay.
We went to Rick's Blues Bar in Venice. That was the big deal. It was a tiny
Right.
little club, you know, that had a bunch of mirrors in it to make
Right.
it look bigger. But they had the best jukebox I've ever heard in my life. Back in those days, Motel 6s really cost $6.
Right. Wow.
But we were only making $15 a night,
Right.
and all the beer you could drink.
Yeah.
So we would flip a coin to see who's going to get, you know, because you put 2 people in a room. Like one guy got the box springs and one guy
Right.
got the mattress on the floor. And I
Yeah.
always wanted the mattress on the floor.
Right.
And 9 out of 10 times I always got that. But this time I got the fucking box spring. So I ended up sleeping with this girl in the back of Ed's Datsun
Right.
because he had a shell on the back, right?
Right.
And I ended up getting the crabs.
Oh, that was a normal thing back then.
Oh,
though.
it was
That was
no
a normal thing.
It was
Yeah.
no fun, man.
Getting the clap and the crabs was just part of the 60s. If you didn't have that in the 60s and 70s, you weren't living,
That's right.
right?
But anyway, that's where we picked Alberto up.
Wow. So
We
you
just-
found
we-
him
we-
in
we-
LA. Well, but wasn't he from San Francisco?
Yeah, he grew up on the South Side.
Was he living in LA at the time?
Kind of meandered around?
Yeah.
He was one of them guys that just kind of just.
Yeah,
Somebody always
because
took
I
him
saw
in.
him at the Ash Grove with Charlie Musselwhite the
There you go.
first time. Yeah. So how did it ended up being Alberto with you guys on the road? How did that come about?
We just asked him to come with us.
And
At that time, every club had an upright piano or a grand piano in it.
right.
And he'd bust those pianos up, man. He played so damn hard, you know.
Yeah. For people that don't know it, Alberto Gianquinte was the piano player that was with the first James Cotton Blues Band. He had played with, didn't he play with James Brown and B.B. King as well?
B.B. King.
Yeah, B.B. King. And he was a white piano player, but he was.
Well, he wasn't white.
Well, he
was
was
half Puerto Rican.
half Puerto Rican,
and
right.
half Italian.
Right. And he ended up in James Cotton's original band, which was just a killer band with Luther Tucker on guitar, Francis Clay, Bobby Anderson. And he ended up basically getting famous because of Santana, I remember.
Well, here's the
The
story.
second album or something.
Santana went to school with him on
Right.
the South Side, right? So they kind of lost track of each other. They were in Texas. And Alberto was with B.B. King playing, and Santana was headlining. And Santana's out in the audience, and Alberto sees him. And all of a sudden, he goes backstage. He goes, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" He goes, "Man, you hit the big time with B.B." He goes, "I hate it." He goes, "Why do you hate it?" He goes, "Boring. Just boring, man. I'm just get a few solos, and I'm just playing." He goes, "That's the same stuff every night." He goes, "Well, come with us." And he goes, "All right." So he left
Wow.
from Texas.
Wow.
And then then in the last days of the Fillmore movie, he got $80,000
Jeez.
because he arranged Oyo Como Va.
Right.
which
And
is
he also
used-
ended up writing a song on the second album.
Yeah,
too.
I can't remember the name of it.
Incident at Nesbar or
That's
something
it.
like that.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah, right.
But he could play anything.
Oh, he was an amazing musician, but a heroin
I learned
addict.
so much from that guy.
Did you?
I really did.
Yeah.
Just
I
about
believe it.
chords and
I
how to
believe it.
really music.
Right.
Because he was a real musician, man.
Right. Sure was.
But he got into some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a character.
He was a character, a great musician. You ended up leaving Gary and getting with Rod Piazza for a while. Now, did you guys meet at that Rick's Blues Bar gig?
Nope. I played one gig with Rod in 76. I think it was 78, 77 or 78.
78, you were definitely with him because I saw you guys at the Blues Festival.
Here's what happened. Gomes was playing with Rod before me.
Right.
He was coming down to LA, backing up T-Bone and all these guys, through Rod.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Rod's got this tour with George, Smokey Wilson. Let's see, who else was in the car? Johnny Dyer, Shaky Jake. Pee Wee wasn't there. That was it.
Okay.
At the Eugene Hotel.
Oh, that was up in Eugene, Oregon. Yeah.
No. Well, we're still. Let's keep it in San Jose for a second.
Right.
So Rod goes, "Who can I get on this thing?" And he goes, "What about Watson?" He goes, "Who's that?" He didn't even remember me.
Right.
I don't think he even knew my name when I did that first gig, right? So Gomes goes. Rod goes, "Is there any recordings of it?" So he played that harmonica instrumental on Blue Bay.
Right.
Rod goes, "That's all the guitar I need to hear, just rhythm."
Right.
So that's how I got that thing with Rod. And basically, I just stayed
Right.
at that point. And Gomes was in there for the first year. And we were going up to Bend, Oregon and stuff with George.
Right.
And then Gomes moved away. And then I just called Bill in there. And he started up. That was it. Because,
So now, was that
we
the
were coming
Chicago
back at
Flying Saucer Band? Is that what that was
No,
called?
it was actually the LA Midnight Groove.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's
then we changed the name to the first record's called the Flying Saucer Band.
Mm-hmm.
The album.
And that was 81 or something? Or was that was in the 70s?
79.
Okay, 79. Okay, that's when you guys kind of went out and just did your own thing for a while, and you ended up with Musselwhite for a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's a highlight of that tour. We're playing the bottom line, and there's Doc Thomas in a wheelchair sitting in front of me. And I went, this guy wrote million sellers, man.
Yeah, Lonely Avenue, and yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Didn't he write some Elvis songs? He wrote Little Sister and a whole bunch
of songs, man.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think you ended up with so many harmonica players? Was it just something about the way you played guitar behind them that they...
I think I was, the thing about me, like I was telling you about learning all rubber soul and everything, I figured out chords first. Most guitar players don't. They want to learn leads first, right?
Right.
So I think that's the thing. My whole salvation is playing a bunch of chords.
Right.
And I just never concentrated on solos.
Yeah.
Until I watched everybody else, and then I got to figure out, man, I can do that too.
And then when you heard guys like Robert Jr. Lockwood, you could see how harmonica players would dig that.
Exactly.
A guy that was able to play support to the harmonica.
Plus the fact, talking to Shaky Jake, he said that Walter was a hell of a guitar player for everything, and he told a lot of those guys what to play too.
Interesting.
And he said, "Here's the amazing. I got this on tape. He would adjust the amp.
Walter would?
While Lockwood was playing, he put more bass on it.
What a trip.
Because he goes, one guy, because I asked Jake, I go, did Leonard Chess give him that sound, or did they have the sound live? He goes, oh, they had the sound live.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
He goes, Tucker played treble,
right,
and Lockwood played bass.
Yeah.
They never hardly ever switched up because Tucker only played trebling.
Yeah, because I asked Jimmy Rogers one time, I go, how much of what you guys did in the studio, how much of that was Leonard Chess and how much was you guys? He goes, it was all us.
That's right.
He goes, we had our sound in the studio. Leonard just told us when to start and when to stop, and that was it.
And that was Shaky's big deal. He goes, let's play quiet. Because Rod started getting loud, but he'd always go like this, man.
Well, I remember I remember when I first saw you guys, play down. I went to a gig, I remember one time in
Avila Beach.
Avila Beach.
Yeah, that's
I saw you guys at that place on the pier.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I got a photo of you guys playing there. And I remember you guys had the smallest little amps. And I was so impressed that you guys played at such a low volume.
That's the way those guys played.
Yeah. And it is how they played, yeah.
You figure in 1952 when they did Juke, there was no big amps.
No way.
And I remember the Living Blues, they had the article on, I think it was Lewis Myers and Walter talking.
Right.
And he says, because everybody tried to figure out what is the amp they're using and all this stuff. He goes, yeah, I remember he had this old amp, man, it kept messing up, making a bunch of noise. He goes, what was it? He goes, International. That's a tractor.
It was a National.
I know.
That's what it was.
But he said it was 2 pieces, you know. And all that. I had to be like a commando or something.
Yeah,
Who knows?
exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like a PA system. That's what Dave Myers told me. He had like these columns that he would set in the club. And he said they had little 8-inch or 6-inch speakers, and he would set them all through the club, like 4 of them.
Actually, Jake said a lot of clubs had built-in speakers in the wall.
True. Yeah.
Metal ones. And he said,
right.
And Walter noticed that, you know, they'd have the Masco PA up there. And he goes, when he was in the audience while the band was playing before he got up there, he goes, you could hear the vocals coming out of everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's when he started playing through the mic.
Wow. What a trip.
Because the harp was everywhere.
Sure, it would be everywhere.
I go, were you in there when this was going on? And Jake goes, you could hear it. I mean, it sounded amazing.
That's what I heard, yeah.
You know, it had that 3-dimensional thing going, you know,
right.
where you hear it coming off the stage and right next to you.
Right, right.
That must have been
pretty
something.
Amazing, yeah. And the funny thing is, I mean, I always heard Walter played through all kinds of different gear.
I got to tell this story.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I just thought of this, and it's a good one. So I asked Jake, I go, when's the first time you saw Howlin' Wolf? He goes, 1948 in West Memphis, Arkansas. And I go, what was it like? He goes, well, first of all, they had circus banners with Howlin' Wolf, with the man's body with like a wolf head with like fangs and stuff on these posters. And everybody goes, he goes, you know, black people are superstitious. He goes, and everybody, they kept playing, bombarding the radio shows with nothing but wolf songs, right? And everybody kind of got scared to come down there, right? So they paid their 35 cents to get in, and the curtains were closed. And when the curtains opened up, the band starts going ding dong, and he's in a cage with a big padlock on the front of it. And he's going like this. He's going like this, right? In the cage, the padlock's rattling like that, and everybody's eyes are all bugged out. Jake's going like this. He goes, they're going like this, and he goes, they started throwing pennies, nickels, and dimes and shit. And all of a sudden, it had a trap door in the back of it, so he just pushed it down like this, and 2 guys just carried that thing away, and the show started.
How wild!
I go, that's really. He goes, all that's gone. And you know, George used to talk about up in Bend, Oregon. You know, after the shows, he had like 5-6 drinks. He'd tell these stories, right? He says everybody had a show back then.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, that's the thing. That's what's missing now about those. That's what kind of upset him.
Interesting.
He goes, because even a guy like J.B. Lenore, man, he'd play behind his head and between his legs and shit, because everybody tried to compete with each other.
Right.
But it was a show.
Yeah.
And it was entertainment.
Yeah.
He goes, entertainment is lost in blues at that time.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I believe that. Yeah.
So,
well, they definitely had like the head cutting contests and stuff.
Yeah,
there was a lot of that
all the time.
So that's another guy I wanted to ask you about is working with George Smith, because I know you and Rod did a ton of shows with George.
A lot of shows.
Yeah. And what were some of the highlights of working with him?
Well, the best one we ever did with him, where I really saw him at his peak performance, was at a ghetto club in Santa Barbara, believe it or not. And there's a shoe shine parlor thing and a rib joint in the front with funny lettering on it, and this black club. And this lady ran it. So here was the show. Mighty Flyers, George, Pee Wee, Johnny Dyer, Shaky Jake. So first was Shaky, and he does long distance call, and he starts running around the mic this way. And she goes, and she went like this, and then he starts going, and he starts getting dizzy, and he starts grabbing the microphone, and almost falls over. So the next is Pee Wee,
right? And
and they're vying for this woman behind the bar, so everybody's really shooting their shot.
All right.
So Pee Wee does the splits, and he can't get up. So he's stretched out like this, and he goes, "Hey, Johnny, get me up!" And Johnny comes up there and gets him on his feet. But
that's like a James Brown.
And then who was after that? George. Never saw George do this. I'm going to take my hat off for a second to do this one. So the girl, by this point, because it started getting good to her, she was like sitting in one of the first row.
Right.
So George does a somersault over to her with and he's got the chromatic. So he's right in front of her, and he goes like this. He grabs his hair, and he just goes like this. And his forehead just looked like an accordion. And the girl, I just go over there. I'm trying to play, but I'm trying to watch it too. And the girl's just going like this to George. So he started buying her salty dogs. He bought her 14 of them, right? So his room was right next to mine when the show was over. And the doors cracked like that. And I go, "Hey, George, And he's got his underwear on. He's got his nylon socks going with like suspender hooks on them. Right? and he's got his black nylon shirt on. And he goes, Mike, I bought that damn woman 14 salty dogs and she jilted me. I go, hey man, you win some and you lose some, George.
But at least you got to see that. That is great.
Yeah.
You ever see Cotton do a somersault?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I never got to see that.
He was skinny then too.
Right, right.
That was a hell of a band.
Sure was. Oh yeah. Tell me some stories about Pee Wee too.
Well,
because I saw Pee Wee. The best night I ever saw him was on one of you and Rod's gigs.
Man, I played so many times with him.
He
amazing.
really played great the night I saw him.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you how I met him. So we were doing a show at the what's the name of that famous jazz club in Hermosa Beach? The Lighthouse.
Oh, the Lighthouse, yeah.
So it was a big blues festival. It was a 2-day event. And I have a poster somewhere of it. And I can't remember all the people, but Johnny Hartzman was definitely there because he begged me to join his band. And I go, what am I going to do? I'm in this band. He goes, He goes, hell with them. Come with me. And I go, I can't do it. So we're backing up. We're going to do like 4 songs with Smokey Wilson.
Right.
So we did a sound check and then we went across the street to eat. So I had a brown Barberlux sitting on a milk crate and a reverb tank. When I come back, my stuff's moved out of the way, and all of a sudden this half-stacked Marshall's there, and I'm going, what the hell? So I don't say nothing to anybody. I just move it back against the wall, and all of a sudden, this little short guy comes running past me and goes, Rod, this damn guitar player just moved my amp. And Rod goes, how's this young man going to play his show with your big-ass amp in the way, Pee Wee? And I go, Pee Wee Creighton.
Wow.
Well, there was a hell of a way to meet a guy.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So anyway, what happened? This is the end of it. So we play the set, and I didn't even know George was in the place, period, because it's so dark in there, and you're playing right to the bar. So Rod walks out into the audience and hands the mic to George, and I went, oh my God, George, as he starts coming up. Well, Pee Wee was sitting in front of me. He's drinking, smoking, and chewing gum. So he's watching us. He's going like... And all of a sudden he sees George, and his Les Paul was leaning up against that half-stack Marshall, right?
Right.
So when George comes up there, he stops the band and goes, da 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 da, and he starts going. And all of a sudden, Pee Wee runs and grabs his guitar, almost knocks me over, and he hits this G. It was in G. I remember that because I looked back and Pee Wee just goes, cling, loud as hell, and I just went back and turned his amp down to our volume. So once again, as soon as that thing's over with, he goes right past me, goes, Rod, this damn guitar player turned my amp down. I go, hey man, how are we gonna do? You're gonna come out with your orchestra and back up Joe Turner.
Right, right.
So that's how I met Pee Wee.
I'm talking with Junior Watson a little more about guitar players. Like you just mentioned to me about playing side to side with Luther Tucker and how you couldn't really play any of his stuff when you were.
Well, I just felt, it's just not kosher, really.
Right, right, exactly.
Plus the fact I respect the guy, and I just,
Yeah.
But it was kind of stifling because I've learned a lot of his stuff.
You did, yeah, yeah.
And you just don't do that kind of thing.
Right, right. You did so many sessions with so many great people over the years. Didn't you do a Johnny Dyer record?
Yep.
Aren't you on some of that?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the George Smith album, which I love.
Yeah.
And then
Boogieing with George.
Yeah, Boogieing with George. And then the other one is the Jimmy Rogers record.
I got to tell you a funny one on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was the Ted Brinson studio. That's where the Hollywood Fats Band did their record. It took them a year to make that record.
Wow.
But I got to talk about the Jimmy Rogers record.
Right.
The Jimmy Rogers, that was done in '83.
Right.
And I go, the Jimmy Rogers? Because you never know, man. Let's go. And he goes, yeah. And he showed up, and from the minute he walked in, it was the most relaxed session I've ever been on in my life. Rod got him a bassman to play through. You know, he had that 335 or whatever it was he had, and we adjusted the amp. You know, and he just go key of A, and we just started, and it was just one of those magical deals. It was, you know, I just tried to stay out of his way, you know, but we got a lot of intertwining stuff going on there. And then eventually, you know, he was drinking a little bit, you know, as it went on, and then finally he just sets the guitar down. And he goes, "You got it from here on out." And I go, "Really?" I go, "What's this thing that you're going to do?" He's going to do, what is the name of it? Slick Chick.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, "How's it go?" And he says something or another, and I go, "Hey, Willie Schwartz," I go, "You know that song, Keep Pleasing Me by Nappy Brown?" I go, "Do that drum fill in the middle of this thing." And so we do it. And he's looking over and he's smiling at me, and I go, "This is great." The guy's happy.
Yeah.
And then he started telling stories. Let me tell the story at the end of this thing. So Honey goes like this. She says, "You know that picture? It's on calendars and stuff where you guys are picking cotton. Is that real?" And Jimmy Rogers goes, "Well, yeah." She goes, "I thought it was staged." She goes, "No, we used to go a lot. If everybody was off on a Sunday, we'd go out there because we could make it like $1 an hour and just tell stories."
Wow.
That was the best times we all had together because everybody would just tell stories.
So he was saying that basically they would just stop by the side of the road and.
No, they had places to go. They knew people.
So
that
they
had
knew who
big
they
cotton
could go
fields,
pick cotton for.
and they just do it just to get away from their wives and tell stories.
Wow.
And
This was before they were in Chicago?
No, it's in Chicago.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
When they'd go down south and tour.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wild.
Yep. Because
Very
you see a bunch of different guys. There's 2 or 3 of those pictures with different guys in them.
Well, I've seen the one that's got like Wolf and Cotton and Little Walter and.
One of them has Sonny Boy in it too, I'm pretty sure.
God, I don't know.
We did a lot of shows with Jimmy Witherspoon with Tucker.
Oh, okay.
Where we'd
Wow.
open up.
Wow.
And that was a lot of fun too,
Right.
hanging out with all those guys and talking to them.
So would Tucker back up Spoon?
No, he'd play with us.
Oh, he'd play with you guys. Okay.
Robin Ford was in that band.
Right,
Oh,
that's
I gotta
right.
tell you, I better not.
No, go ahead.
I know. I could really get in trouble on this one.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want to
Change the names.
I don't want to say it.
After you got into Chicago blues, you kind of gradually got into a more jazzy style of guitar playing with guys like Bill Jennings and Tiny Grimes, Billy Butler,
That's right.
Oscar and Johnny Moore. So I'd like you to talk about how you got hip to these guys, because you're really one of the first. I remember when I first heard like Hollywood Fats, and to me your style was very similar to Fats, but then you kind of jumped into this really kind of jazzier style that was very unique at the time, for blues guitar playing. And I want you to tell how you got hip to these guys.
Well, as you know, there's not much guitar on Little Walter records.
No.
As far as solo-wise going, there might be 4 bars of, you can't even really call it a solo, just
Right.
a little fill. So, you got your double shuffles of the backbeat, which is not normal, low down blues, style.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, how am I going to learn how to solo this stuff? And then after hearing Tucker talking about Tiny Grimes, that was one of the first records I bought. There was a guy, what was his name?
Wow.
Rex. And he had a record shop on
Okay.
Bascom Avenue by Hamilton, a little shop, and he had everything.
Right.
So that's how I figured out how to solo to the Rods. Eventually I convinced Rods to do other things.
Right.
And I started interjecting songs. Like
Willie Maybon,
Exactly.
or people
That
like
kind of
that.
stuff,
Yeah.
and because it had the same kind of feel to it, but it wasn't the same old stuff all the time.
Right.
I just wanted to keep learning. Want the band to evolve. So everybody gets some play happening.
Right.
And that's how I bought a lot of crappy records in between, finding them at junk shops and what have you. But I found a lot of great stuff too. So I just had to weed the junk out and got rid of it.
Well, you guys really, in my book, you guys were really the first kind of West Coast blues band of our generation that was really kind of getting into like Wynonie Harris and some of the jump blues bands, Roy Milton and
Yeah, it's not a normal
Louis
thing.
Jordan. Yeah, I mean, people really weren't hip to that.
No. much more primitive than that. It's more sophisticated type. I call it the West Coast sound.
It really is.
You know
yeah.
what I mean,
Yeah.
all those guys. It was like I call it. I mean, I think initially it was called society blues,
Right.
where people were wearing tuxedos, coming to Cotton Club, way
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
and they were paying money. So it's a more of a higher echelon type situation. I like the whole idea of it.
And you guys had the upright bass, and I
Yeah.
think that all lent itself. Honey playing piano at the time,
That
and
was actually the first band I was in that had a stand-up bass.
right.
So I really like that because
Yeah.
just the bass doesn't lead.
hmm
It's part of the ensemble
Right.
that way.
And that helped with the volume thing too.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
boy, that was a big factor for me. It was such a great change of pace, not playing loud.
Right.
I never was a loud player on the
Right.
even
Right.
back with Gary initially,
Yeah.
compared to most bands back then.
So yeah, I think in a lot of ways you guys were kind of a real trendsetter for what became kind of known in terms of the West Coast harmonica blues bands. You were sort of the real trendsetter of that, direction that you guys were in at the time. And it seems like it's still kind of the case that the upright bass and playing at the low volume that you guys did at the time.
That's right.
It was really a very much of something that became very popular afterwards.
All over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. Yeah.
I mean, when we first went over to Finland in '82, I think it was, everybody was loud.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, they just go, "This is how it's done." And they, then now you can go over there and play with anybody.
Right.
I mean, in
Right.
almost every country, because it's, they're really into it now.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
went from generation to generation. You know what I mean?
And I think that's also why, your influence as a guitar player has been it's really seen in other parts of the world. In other words, Europe, I see it a lot. South America, I see it. And I mean, obviously in the States, you've got all these people that are really influenced by what you did. But in Europe, man, it was huge. How many guys that were imitating your sound?
That's true.
Yeah.
It really is true. Like,
So-
I remember UC. You know UC?
Right. Yeah.
UC tells me
He's
about,
great. Yeah.
what's his name? I can never remember his name. You know him, the guitar player that plays with Trick Bag a lot.
Oh, yeah. You Tommy Lino.
So he goes like this.
Tommy,
He goes,
yeah.
Tommy won't tell you this, but I'm
Right.
going to tell you this.
Yeah.
He learned your guitar parts and Bill Clark's heart
Right. That's right.
at the same time.
That's right.
And he goes, he just had those records and lived by it every day. And I go, I could tell.
Well, that's another guy that, I mean, William Clark is another one I forgot to mention that you definitely played on a lot of his early stuff. And I think that influenced a lot of those players over there. Yeah.
He was a mysterious cat too, in a weird way.
Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah. I met Clark, I remember, right after Hittin' Heavy. He gave me a copy of Hittin' Heavy when I met him down at the Starboard Attitude,
I remember when those guys, we were the first blues band to be at the Red Onion.
Right.
That was right there in Newport Beach, right by the water.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that place was you played in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally you're going to get girls coming in there in bikinis.
Right.
And I go, this is living. And then the other really cool thing about it is now I hate TVs, but back then I loved them because the fights were on.
Right.
So I watched Tyson fights while playing. Right. And I just be going, yeah. I got a funny story on Billy Campbell, by the way.
Yeah.
In there. So
Bill Campbell, the guitar player.
Yeah.
Right.
So Bill Campbell was in Harmon's band. Harmon's band. And I rented a room there at his place, but Billy was in the living room. And at that time he was drinking pretty heavy, but he'd always want to come down. He couldn't get over, he'd always tell me, he goes, I don't know how you play the stuff that you play without being shit-faced drunk. And I go, I've never been a big drinker, Billy. He goes, yeah, but how do you come up with all this crazy stuff you play? And I go, I don't know. So I go, play something, Billy. And he never wanted to play in front of everybody because he was afraid somebody's going to steal his stuff.
Right.
So I go, I had the big blonde Epiphone Zephyr Deluxe Regent, and I go, play that guitar. And he goes, nah. So I go outside and I smoke, and I come back, and he's got the guitar on. I go, this is going to be great. So he goes like this. He does one of these scratch counts. I'm sitting at the bar just going, this is going to be cool. So he goes, cha, cha, cha. And the first four notes were genius. And then from that point on,
Was he drunk?
Oh yeah, and open strings and mistakes and everything. But the first 4 bars, I go, this is amazing. This is genius, right? And then
I've
it's all
seen him.
haywire.
I saw him be like that though, man.
So here's the funny part of the story. When he's done playing, he goes and sits at this bar, and I come up and I go, "Hey, Billy, thanks for playing." He goes, "Hey, I want you to meet Karen." And she had like a mink stole. You know, I don't know how old she was, but I realized that I came there with Campbell in his car because he lived there with me. And so he goes, "Hey, let's go. I'm going to go to a hot tub with Karen here. You want to come?" And I go, "No, three's a crowd, man. You go do your thing." And I realized, I go, "Hey, just give me a ride home." He goes, "Okay, come on, man, get in the car." So she goes, "Stop at a liquor store." So she goes inside the liquor store, and I go, "How did you know this girl?" He goes, "No, I just met her today." And so all of a sudden I go, "She's been in there for like 20 minutes, man. We've been talking in the car." And he goes, "Let's go in there." So we walk in, and he goes, "Hey, did you see Karen walk in?" And he goes, "No girl walked in here." She just escaped through the back door.
That's great. That was her exit.
And he was bummed out. He was just bummed out.
That was her exit. That's good.
That was it.
Yeah, that's one way out of there.
Oh,
so tell me how you said Tucker turned you on to Tiny Grimes. How'd you find out about guys like Bill Jennings and Billy Butler?
Oh, well, Billy Butler I knew from Bill Doggett.
Right.
I bought a couple Bill Doggett records, and I just go, "This guy's great." That's about as good as you could get.
Right.
Bluesy stuff, with a little arrangements, really cool. Then I met him.
Right, in New York.
Yeah, at Tramps in Manhattan. And
with Charles Brown or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had Bobby Forrester playing organ and kicking bass. Belton Evans, who plays on all that Showtime at the Apollo stuff, the black and white clip, that's him.
Wow.
And then Billy Butler and Charles Brown. And that particular night, he played all horse racing songs.
Charles did?
Yeah. All these weird stuff. And the funny thing about it is I was outside smoking once again, and Billy Butler, he was short, man. He's about that tall.
Right.
And he had a gig bag around and he was carrying his amp with one finger, a Polytone Mini Brute.
Wow.
Right? And I'm looking at the guitar, and it's a Japanese, what do they call it? Sheridan. With a bunch of flowers on the head, but it looks like a 335. Sounded exactly like those old records.
Yeah.
With a solid state stupid amp.
Wow.
So, I talked to him for a while, and he didn't like my Esplanade, but I had the blonde Epiphone. He goes, play the man's guitar, he called it. And I go, "I like this mud box," I called it back then, right? And he goes, "Nah." He goes, "Those harmonies and stuff, they're junk." He goes, and I go, "What did you play on all those records?" He goes, "Epiphone Broadway, like your guitar."
Wow.
And I go, "With a DeArmond pickup," right? And he goes, "Yeah, but I had it hot rodded." But I don't think he did. They like to say stuff like that. So anyway, so the show's going. I have it on tape, by the way.
Yeah, you gave me a tape of that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you gave me a tape of that.
So Charles Brown goes, "And now we got the great Billy Butler on guitar. We're gonna have him do his great hit, Honky Tonk." And he just went, because he didn't want to do it, right?
He didn't like doing it.
So he takes a big swig off his cognac on his amp, and he messed it up completely.
Did he?
But he played so perfect on everything else.
Wow, that's funny.
And he's just like grimacing.
Just didn't like playing that song.
Yeah, and he gets off stage and he just goes, "I hate that damn song." He goes, "I played that song 5,000 times."
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you have a hit.
But he was a nice guy. He really was cool.
That's awesome. That's so cool you got to meet him.
Oh, I loved it.
Now, did you find out about Jennings through him by any chance? Or
No, I think I just stumbled on a record.
Really?
I bought an album.
Wow.
I found it in a thrift shop.
Because he's such an obvious influence. When I heard Bill Jennings, I went, "This is who Junior."
It was his idol.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it was huge influence on you.
Me too.
Jennings, yeah, just
Oh, I love.
There was something about his style and just the way he would, the way he would.
It's very misleading, his style, because it sounds simple, but it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you really dive into it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I had a guy, Dave is his name. I can't think of his last name. And he was the toughest student I've ever had in my life because he made me learn songs. So I don't play any Bill Jennings note for note.
Right.
But I had to learn these songs, and I go, whew. I'd hate to play these live with a band because if the band's not playing correctly,
Right.
it's impossible to play it.
Right.
It's got to be perfect, you know.
But that's how you got a lot of those parts.
That's
then.
how I got a lot
Yeah,
of those parts.
I could see that. Yeah.
I really did. It was tough, but you know, I take a little bit from everybody. You know, I tried to find the most obscure guys so nobody knows if you're really messing up.
Well, and that's what I dig about what you came up with, is that you kind of came up with this style that was such a mix of, you know, guys like Robert Jr., Tucker, you know, Jennings, Tiny Grimes, you know, but at the same time, I mean, I know from, you know, us doing sessions and stuff that you can play BB, or you can play,
I
you know.
did that when I was a kid.
Yeah, you know, you can play all these different styles, Otis Rush, or even Peter Green
when
style.
I was over in Switzerland with Little Charlie, I go, do you remember when you asked me to join your band? And he says, yeah. I go, what did I sound like back then? He goes, man, you sound like a cross between Buddy Guy and Otis Rush. And I don't even remember. You know, because just that part of my life is kind of like blocked out.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, you know, when I listen to, say, your stuff on Blue Bay, because I heard that just the other day. Mazzolini played it on his show.
You know what happened on that? Now that you say that, I blew my amp up at the Rhino.
Did you?
I had a Pro Reverb that I disconnected one of the speakers so it was like the wrong impedance.
Right.
It lasted a year, and then black smoke billowed out of it right before that session. And I had to play through one of those white piping twins.
Right.
That's a twin reverb that was in the studio, and I hated that amp.
But it had a clean sound, as I recall.
Yeah, but I just said nothing like my amp.
Right.
So I was just going, it's like fighting an alligator.
Right. So when you were recording with Rod, would you guys be playing at a pretty low volume in the studio?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Small amps, you know.
Yeah, all small amps.
On the Chicago. Well, there's pictures.
Yeah.
Harmon's Masco, tiny little Masco I played on the Chicago Flying Saucer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's the first I found Bill a bass in Santa Ana in a pawn shop. We called it Grandpa for $175.
Upright?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he never played it before. And that's the first time he ever played on that record.
Yeah.
He's been playing for 2 weeks.
That's incredible. That's like Ronnie James. I remember when
There you go.
Ronnie James first joined, man, he was like, he played that thing
Bill's one
2
of the
weeks.
best there
He's
is.
great.
I'm telling you,
He's
one of the best.
awesome,
And
man.
you know what? He reads my mind.
Yeah.
And we've known each other so long. He just
That's so cool.
can't fool him.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Now, how about, you said you saw T-Bone play.
Yeah,
huh?
that was incredible.
And that was where, Ziani or something? Or where was it?
Chateau Liberté.
Right.
So
Santa Cruz. Yeah.
So I see it in the paper, and I got a ride from this girl, right? And I show up, and I'm looking at the drums, and I go, "This is going to be terrible. The drums are all metal."
Yeah.
But the guitar player, I'll never forget this. This guy drank 17 beers. I counted his glasses. And every time at the end of the song, he'd take a big jug, like drink half of it, and I'm going,
Right.
this guy's going to never messed up, period. He sounded great.
Wow.
And he did a great job on rhythm, everything. And the band was actually pretty cool by themselves. But when T-Bone got, they played pin drop quiet. And he sat down and he had the ES5.
Wow.
So he comes up to me, and I'm not going to do it your late, but he comes up to me and he goes, "How you doing, young man?" And grabs my leg like that. And I'm going, I was going to get your hand off my leg, but I didn't say it because it was him, right? I go, "You sound great." And he goes, "Well, thank you, young man." He goes, "You play guitar?" I go, "I'm trying." He goes, "Well, keep it up." He goes, "I could tell you have integrity."
Wow.
And I went,
Wow.
"Wow." T-Bone said
That's
that.
wild.
That was it. But he was,
Yeah.
he sounded great.
Wow.
It was really something.
That's something now.
I could never figure his stuff out too when I was a kid.
Right.
It's just-
Now Lowell is the other guy that, I'm sure I remember the one time you came down to our gig in
all
San
those
Jose
guys
that
did
time.
that kind of stuff.
Just sabotaging you?
Sabotage.
Yeah, yeah.
So he had a white Falcon,
Right.
right, with all these switches on it. I never
Right.
played one. You call me up there, right, and he stands there next to me. I knew I was in trouble when they stand next to you. So he's smiling at me, right? And so I go to play, and the bottom strings don't come out. Only the high strings. So I'm going, what the hell? So I just start flipping every switch, and I finally, because it's stereo,
Right.
so you could turn the bottom strings off for some stupid reason, right? And then he just goes like this. I finally figured it out after messing up for like 4 or 5 notes.
That's
He
great.
still stayed there. Remember that?
I don't remember
He just
that.
stays
but
on stage
that's
while I'm playing.
funny. How did you hook up with Canned Heat that was after Rod, right?
Yeah. Well, I gave it notice. I just got tired of it because, it just got kind of ridiculous towards the end. They were bringing Alex Schultz down there, and they knew,
So it seemed like they were maybe edging you out, kind of, or something.
I didn't care about that. I wanted to leave anyway.
Yeah.
Just wanted to take a break. I just had a kid.
Right.
And
so was that what, 70?
No,
88.
It was like
right.
January of 88.
Right.
So I pulled Rod aside at Panama Joe's, and I go, hey, man, take your sunglasses off and look me in the eye. And he just immediately goes like that, right? And I go, I'm going to give it a 2-week notice, but I'd like to leave now because I don't want to go to Finland.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, all right, man. Okay, cool. And then Honey was just pissed at that time. And I did. And so I'm sitting around, and all of a sudden Larry calls me up and he goes, hey, man, you want to join Candy? And I go, I don't know, man. He goes, I'll tell you what, you got the gig, but I want you to play with Fido and see if you can deal with it. And so I showed up.
And you'd known Larry for a while, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was always coming over to Harmon's house and stuff.
Right.
I sold him a couple of guitars and a bass and everything. And that was it. I was in there for, from...
And Larry was just kind of in and out, Larry Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do too much traveling overseas.
Right.
I went to Australia and maybe about 3 or 4 tours in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But they had this other guy that played every instrument, drums, bass, and Greg Cage.
And so you were in there for a while, right?
Yeah, off and on for about 10 years.
10 years, yeah. Right. And they were really popular in Australia, right?
Really popular.
Yeah. And then you did a bunch of those Woodstock tours, I know.
Yeah, those are actually, they were a lot of fun.
Were they?
Yeah, because there's so many bands that were not really bands. We were a band.
Right.
We didn't need to rehearse. So, on some of the package deals that they had going, you had like New Riders of the Purple Sage, Brewer and Shipley, Mamas and the Papas, which, kind of a joke, because they had Spanky McFarland in there from.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like posing,
I know who she
as
is.
Mama Cass.
Oh, really? Wow, that's weird.
And then they had Mackenzie Phillips, who couldn't really sing all that good.
Okay.
At that time. So the harmonies were pretty questionable, but, the guitar players were always really cool.
Yeah.
And some of the shows, we only did like 20-minute sets, and these guys would be rehearsing and stuff. We'd be out there smoking cigars.
Yeah, because you guys already had your stuff together, yeah.
And, at that time I was doing the Hucklebuck. And
right.
That was one of the only songs that got over as good as a hit, because I kept, he wanted to play blues songs for like 5 to 8 songs in. I go, get with it, man. They don't know what you're doing. They expect something else. They expect it to be more rocky,
Right.
And he never would do it.
Fido?
But on those 20-minute things, I'd always do the Hucklebuck, and people went nuts, man.
That's great.
Which I found interesting because it's an instrumental.
Right.
It has nothing to do with it.
Right.
That
was, it's probably the fact you guys were a tight band.
We were.
Yeah.
And Larry and Fido were good rhythm.
Oh, they're a great rhythm section.
They were on. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah. And then after that, this is kind of the last thing I was going to get into in terms of the history stuff, but through Larry, you got into the band with Kim Wilson.
Yeah.
You started the Kim Wilson All-Stars with Larry, Richard Innes,
Gene Taylor,
you, then Rusty got in there.
Got in there, yeah.
Right.
That was it. That was an interesting thing.
Yeah. What did that last? Like 4 years or something with you?
I think I was only in there for like a year.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
And then I tried to. Then this agent tried to get me to. I didn't know any songs, to front a band. And
you didn't?
No.
Yeah.
I only knew like 4 or 5 songs to sing. And I'm not a singer in the first place. But this guy, he was a booking agent. He goes, here's what we'll do. We'll call it Junior Watson and Friends. He goes, you got 1 million friends. We'll get them down there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And who shows up first is Mark T.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, from the Electric Kings.
I can't think of the name of the club. Something like something Cantina. It was in Belmont Shore. It was a big old club, right? Everybody was there. Jeff Termes playing bass, sax,
Wow.
Rick Holmstrom, Kirk Fletcher, everybody came down. Yeah. And they play a little bit. And that's how it got.
So that's kind of how you started your own
and then I started
fronting it off.
Yeah. And then I started just working all over the damn place through this guy.
Right.
And it was pretty cool.
And so when was your first solo album? What year was that? Do you remember?
That was, so there has to be 86, I think.
So, and how many records have you done under your own name?
You got Long Overdue. You got If I Had a Genie. If you want to call back to back, that's a 50-50 record. One side Linwood Slim, one side me.
Right.
Then what's the other one? Jumping with Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And then the latest one.
Yeah.
So 5.
And the latest one is
Nothing to it but to do it.
Is that the one on Little Village?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the most unique record I've ever done.
Is it? Yeah, I
think
can't wait to hear it.
You have to hear
Yeah.
it. Man. I do a ska version of Caravan.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
And, you know, it really turned out good. I mean, Kid Anderson's a genius.
He is a genius. I agree.
It's
totally.
the most fidelity record I've ever done.
Yeah.
Stuff's coming out of everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I've done everything at Kids since 2007.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've listened to a playback, and I go, "Is it mixed?" He goes, "No, but it sounds like it's mixed, right?"
Well, he's got an amazing ear, and he's one of the quickest engineers I've ever worked with.
And Lisa, she was beyond expectations.
Mm-hmm.
The amazing thing about her is, you know, I picked some songs, right, and I'd never played them, but I figured, hey, you know, I'm going to try to sing these songs and blah, blah, blah. But I go, I wonder if this is going to be all right for her. First day, I really didn't do anything except talk it out. Mm-hmm. And kids going, are you sure? And I go, no, I know. I just want to get a feeling for everybody, you know. Because I didn't know Pew, really.
Right.
I just worked with him. I never talked to him when I worked with you years ago.
Right.
So he seemed like, I go, if I tell you to play like the Far Future, will you do it? He goes, absolutely, anything you want. I go, fuck, this is going to be good.
Yeah, he's great in the studio.
So I found this song, Whole Lot of Lovin' by Big Ella. Has all these horns in it, you know, and I had Beatle there, but I go,
so Gordon Beatle is on that?
Yeah.
Oh,
he sounds great on there.
Wow.
So I say, Lisa, you think you can do this? And she kind of smiled like I'm trying to get all the butter out of her, right? And she goes, yeah, I could do it. And I never played it, but I thought, I hope I can pull this off because I'm going to have to lead these guys into it. They can't, you know, think about it too much. If they hear me, they'll get the parts.
Right.
So I see her. She's in the bedroom because I've kept going back into the booth talking to Kid. And she's got a piece of paper. She's laying like this, writing the words out, right? Didn't hear a peep out of her. No practice, no nothing, right? She goes, okay, I'm ready. And then wait till you hear what went on there. So that's the only one Kadar didn't play bass on because I had Pew play organ bass. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Can't wait to hear it.
She sings the hell out of it.
Yeah. No, she's great, man. She's amazing.
It's one of the
amazing vocalist, man. So have you ever figured how many sessions you've done?
Something like 239.
Jesus. There's some people you've kind of introduced in a way to the scene. I mean, you know, somebody like John Nemeth, I remember I first heard through you in terms of recordings. I knew about him, but you were the one that kind of was on some of his earliest recordings. The other guy I was going to say is, to me, you know, you got Linwood Slim out there.
That's right. I'll tell you the story on John. So Jimmy says, hey, man, we're going to have this singer open up for us at this place in
Is this in Idaho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boise, Idaho.
Right.
So he gives me the CD, and I listen to it. He gave me some CD player, and I listened to it, and I go, well, he sounds great, but I don't like the band too much. They're kind of like a fusion band.
Right.
You know, one of these bass players that has the bass up to their chin, you know. So I'm in the club, you know. Jimmy goes, you got to hear this guy sing. Well, he starts ordering these martinis, like gigantic glasses, and he drinks like 7, 8 of them, right? And he's singing like a bird.
Yeah.
And girls are screaming and stuff.
Right.
The band sucks. But I go, this guy's got a potential as hell. He's got a hell of a range.
Right. So
I talked to him, and he seems all cool. And he goes, hey, would you go on the road? He goes, yeah, I'll do it. And he was listening to all kinds of, mainly all the white players. Like, you got to listen to the real stuff.
Right.
So I made him a bunch of tapes. And, you know, the Love in Vain song? Did you ever hear him do that?
The one I remember was Sailor Boy.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Sailor Boy.
That one. There was a few like Johnny Otis things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Nolan record, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, but you found some real
But he was like a sponge, man.
Really cool material. And the album I love is, I thought the the Blind Pig album that Anson produces.
That's a good record, yeah.
That's a great record.
Wes on there.
And yeah, that's you on there, right? Yeah, Wes is playing drums.
Yep.
And then the other guy, like I say, was Linwood. I remember, I had met Linwood through William Clark, seeing him at the I met him at the Starboard Attitude years before, I think, I want to say a good 5-10 years before you started recording with him. But I remember when you guys did, I think it's called Coming to America. Was that the name of it?
Yeah.
Or something?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Something in America.
Lost in America.
Lost in America. Yeah, that album. And
that was 1991.
91. And I remember that album really.
He wasn't in California until then.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he was visiting then when I met him.
Yeah, okay. But here's how the whole thing went down. 89, actually. I was in Minneapolis, or actually we were in Duluth. Mm-hmm. So Julius Roeder's there. So with Canned Heat. And she goes, hey, you guys want to hear somebody good? Good friend of mine. I think you're really going to like him. So the whole band went down to this club, and it was this guy, Cool Breeze. You ever heard of him?
That sounds
Guitar
familiar,
player.
Yeah.
And this band, and Slim was just Slim. Mm-hmm. Hey, partner, all right, check it out. Hey, Junior. Like he's known you all his life.
Right.
I've never seen him in my life.
Right.
He goes, yeah, I know Kid Ramos. I'm coming out to California. You want to record? And I go, yeah, sure. So he comes out, and we do that record. We do it like in a day. I think it was a day and a half.
Is that with Richard and Larry?
Bunch of people.
Yeah.
Bunch of different drummers,
Right. Some of the Paladins, I think, are on it.
Yeah, that's right. Who's the drummer who was in the Paladins? Was it Fay?
That's right. Brian Fay.
Brian Fay.
Right.
But Larry's on there. Right. Just a conglomeration of people.
Innes is on there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really fun. Really fun to do that record.
And you guys worked together a lot, it seemed like.
Oh, we went all over.
Yeah, you guys were all over the place.
A lot of fun. We had a great time.
Man, the other guy, that to me you've had a lot to do with is Barath.
Oh, man.
Raja Kumar up in Montreal.
Amazing.
Yeah. I heard of him early on when he first started doing some recording, but it wasn't until I heard some of the stuff that you had something to do with that I really was impressed.
I never heard anybody really capture that Walter stuff like him.
Yeah, I agree.
The stabs and things. And everybody misses them.
Yeah.
You've never heard Rod do them.
Not really, yeah.
I mean, this guy, all the little subtle stuff he captured.
That's right. Yeah.
And he played quiet.
And he's one of those guys that, like I have him on my iPod, and sometimes the stuff will come on and I won't know it's him. I mean, literally, I'll go, wow, that's really cool, Big Walter. And then he'll start singing. I go, that's him. Man.
Pretty
it's
amazing.
Pretty mind-blowing.
He's a genius, man.
Yeah, he's
really
pretty badass. A great guitar player, too. I guess the last...
Hey, I want to tell the Oscar Moore story.
Oh, yeah. I want you to tell that.
Okay, so David Lee Bartell of the Red Devils, he tells me that he showed me pictures of his Charlie Christian amp and Charlie Christian guitar, and I go, I didn't know you were into that stuff. And he goes, well, I can't play it, but I love it. And he goes, you want to meet Oscar Moore? And I go, yeah, but I couldn't go today, so I had Stu Hoffman, Stu the Knife, drive me over. He
Blue
goes,
Stu.
He goes, Blue Stu. He goes, I know where that lot's at. And so I went over there with him, and I just introduced myself. I said, hey, David Lee sent me. And he goes, what's your name? I go, Junior Watson. He goes, nice to meet you. So I'm asking him, I go, are you still playing or giving lessons? He goes, no, I don't even have a guitar now. He goes, the whole music business discouraged me. He goes, I won the Metrodome Award in 1944, and that was it. And then we got aced out of the band when Nat King Cole started, getting fame.
Right.
And he goes, I make $1,500 a day on this lot.
Wow.
He goes, more money than I ever made in my life. And he goes, I'm just glad to be away from it all. And he goes, this is peaceful. And he goes, I just sit here and collect money all day.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he had no remorse.
That's so weird, man.
And what a genius he was.
Yeah, I mean,
they were gods.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny and Oscar Moore, absolutely.
Some of the best guitar you're ever going to hear in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a strange.
But I didn't feel bad for him. Because he seemed like he was happy.
Yeah. The other guy that was like that, DeFord Bailey, kind of ended up as a shoe shine.
Wow.
Shoe shine guy.
What a harmonica player he was.
And just an incredible history and all that.
Who's the other guy that I really like that nobody knows too much about?
Rhythm Willie.
Rhythm Willie.
Yeah.
What an amazing
Incredible
Those
harmonica
first
player.
position high notes.
Yeah. I actually recorded a song of his in fourth position.
Wow.
That's just outrageous. Yeah.
Hey, you've heard that Musselwhite tape, man. This might get me in trouble, but I like it.
Which one?
The one for Mark Knaphelin's show.
Oh, the 14th,
This is one of the greatest.
14th positions?
Yeah.
Right.
He goes like this. I hope Charlie doesn't get mad at me for this. He goes like this. So Mark Knopfler, hey, we got the great Charlie Musselwhite. He's going to be at the Sleeping Lady tonight. And how you doing, Charlie? Hey, all right, everything's ruby-doo back in the alley, back behind my house. and Henry, you hear Henry laughing in the background. He goes, so Charlie, tell me this. He goes, you had a new record out called The Blues According to Charlie Musselwhite, and there's a strange position on the harmonica on one of those songs. He goes, yeah, Paro Azul. He goes, that was my ex-wife, you know. That's the song you're talking about. He goes, well, what's the deal with it? He goes, it's kind of a strange position. He goes, I'm playing in C. Oh, no, the band's playing in C, and I'm playing in A minor. And Knopfler goes, well, that's not that strange, because the A minor is the minor third of C. He goes, you got me there. He goes, what are you, an expert on a harmonica? Anyway, Charlie eventually starts getting mad, because whenever he starts going, you know that he's mad.
You know you're in trouble.